So this week we have the management information and decision support system. So let's start. Decision making and problem solving. Every organization needs effective decision making. In most cases, strategic planning and overall goals of the organization set the course for the decision making. So decision making is very important for any organization. Can you tell me what kind of decision usually we take in organization?
Financial decisions.
Financial decisions related with finance, some management decision, and there are many different types of decisions. So decision making is very important. In most cases, strategic planning. What is strategic planning? Any idea? Strategic planning. It is a long-term goals. For example, we want the CCSIT college. We want number one after 3 years in our region. Okay, so this will be the goal that we are going to achieve after 3 years, and we need some planning for in order to achieve this goal. Okay, so we have to achieve some goals in if we talk about any organization needs to achieve some goals, and for that they need to do some planning, and in planning they need to take some decision. So decision making is very important for any organization. Okay, so what is the process for this decision making phase? First part of problem solving process. The very first thing in decision making is intelligence stage. Potential problems or opportunities are identified and defined. Intelligence. What is intelligence? Guys, any idea?
Something smart.
Using brain. Okay, so you will be innovative. You will think. In this stage, you will think about the problems and what are the opportunities. Whenever you are going to take a decision, the very first step is you will identify the problem and opportunities. Second step is design stage, where you can design different solutions and you will choose. Yes.
What's the difference between identified and defined?
Identified and defined. I mean, identify means you have something already and you are going to pick up in that. So define is basically, explain. You're trying to explain that thing. Okay, so you have all solution, all problems are there. You need to identify. You need to pick up one, and you need to define that. Is that clear? You have different options in front of you. Okay, potential problems or opportunities are identified. So there are a lot of problems, a lot of opportunities. You need to find out. You need to pick one, but you also need to explain that one. Okay, identified and defined. Definition. What is definition? Write the definition of primary key. You will explain a little bit. Okay, identified means you have a different, you have collection of things and you have to identify it from there. identify the correct option. Okay,
There are difference between them or not?
there is a difference.
Identify.
It's very clear. It's named identify. Find out.
Like something you have idea and you want to go inside idea.
Look, you have primary key, you have foreign key, you have different keys. And I ask to identify the correct key. What will you do? You will choose one of them.
Okay.
Okay, it is identification. Like ID card, here is identification.
Okay, I got it. Undefined.
And define is definition. You explain the thing.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So this is whenever you are going to take a decision, you need this stage, the first stage, where you will use your brain. Okay, you will find out the problems and opportunities. You will identify and define. So once you have the problem, you have the clear problem statement, then you can design the solutions. Alternative solutions to the problems are developed. Okay, we will do this, maybe we can do this, we can also do this. So you have different options there in design stage. And choice stage, you will choose the related one, the optimal solution. Okay, is that clear, guys?
Yes.
For example, you need to buy a furniture or you need to buy a computer for your office. Okay, now tell me, this is a problem and you have to take a decision. So in the very first stage, intelligence stage, what would be the, your feedback on intelligence stage? What would you do?
For what, doctor?
In office, you need to purchase a computer for your office. So can you explain the decision making phase?
I think, Doctor, what kind of computer? What is the type of the computer?
What are the problems? Can you identify the problems that you may face and opportunities?
Maybe the price.
Yes, you will identify the prices.
Yeah.
The budget constraint. Maybe that is the problem. Maybe the delivery is the problem. Maybe the vendor manufacturer is the problem. You will identify the different problems and the opportunities that maybe you have variety of vendors available. The Dell, HP, Sunsoft, the other Apple. Okay, so you will design these problems and opportunities. Then next stage is the solutions. So you have this variety of solutions. You can go with the HP, you can go with Apple, you can go with the other option. And the choice stage, you will select what is actually required. So this is how the journal decision making phase works. The problem solving goes beyond decision making to include implementation and monitoring stages. The problem solving, implementation stage. So now you have already chosen your solution. For example, you want to go for Apple computers. So in the implementation stage, you will you will purchase the Apple computer. And monitoring stage, decision makers evaluate the implementation. Now, after purchasing, after implementing that thing, the computer is working fine or not, you will monitor for a couple of time period. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, Dr. Clear.
So these are the stages when you are making a decision decision for any problem. So they divide these stages into two. One is decision making phase and one is problem solving phase. So problem solving phase include implementation stage and monitoring stage. Decision making phase include intelligence stage, design stage and choice stage. And the same phases are explained in the form of picture. So intelligence, design, choice, and you can see from choice, there is a, decision making. If choice is, you are still struggling with that, choice is not good, maybe you can go back to the intelligence phase again for gathering further information. If choice is okay, then you will go with implementation and monitoring. And in monitoring, you are again going back. So it means maybe there is a chance you will face problem after implementing your decision. There is a problem because you are monitoring that one. Then you will go back to the intelligence to take another decision. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, it's clear.
So we have program decision and non-program decisions. Program decisions, decision made using a rule, procedure, quantitative method, easy to computerized using traditional information system. And non-program decisions that deals with unusual or exceptional situation, not easily quantifiable. Can you give me any example for this? Program decisions.
Doctor, like Google Maps, when it's choose the fastest way.
That is a programmed decision. So it's taking on based on rule, procedure, quantitative that you can measure, that you can see, you can calculate. For example, in traditional, just fire a person or hire a person. There must be some rules for that. Must be procedures. Okay. So this is a computerized decision making. But what is non-programmed decisions? Where you cannot, which is not quantifiable. Exceptional situations. Sometimes you do not have any rules available for that, and some situation occurs. For example, the COVID. Suddenly COVID occur, and you have to take a different kind of decisions, right? Lockdown. So this is unquantifiable, not easy to quantify. Did you get the point, guys?
Yes.
We have taken a lot of non-programmed decision during the COVID. Online classes. Okay, so we did, we created some rules for going outside. Okay, so these kind of decisions, which is especially related with unusual or exceptional cases, are called non-programmed decisions.
Doctor, can you give us one example of non-programmed decision?
Non-programmed.
Yes, like what?
Yes.
Can I have one example?
Yes. Yes. Yes, you want to give an example?
Doctor, he means that you give us example.
Okay, just a minute, just a minute. Non-programmed decisions are specifically to to management problems that are novel and unique. New problem and unique problem, and unstructured. Deal with risk where there is an uncertainty. Now, as I gave you the COVID-19 situation, okay, as a manager, you are manager in an office, and this COVID situation has occurred suddenly. So, what kind of decision you are going to make there? Are you getting my point, guys? Are you with me?
Yes, yes, Doctor.
You are manager, and now there is a COVID. So, how you are going to manage your office? You have to take a different decisions, like your employees should come or not, customer should come in the office or not, like in our college, the student should come in the college or not, how we can work with the, how we can conduct a meeting. You have to take a decision for this, right?
Yes.
There is no rules and regulation for that before. It is a new thing. It is exceptional thing. We should conduct uh, the midterm online or offline. We did not have rule before that. We need to see the current situation, what's going on.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
this is non-programmed decisions. So all problems which are new, unstructured, or exceptional situation. What is exceptional situation? Which is not normal. Okay, something has happened suddenly, and you have to take a decision to deal with those problems. So those decisions usually called are non-programmed decision. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, clear, Doctor. Thank you.
Okay, we have three models for that: optimization model, satisficing model, and heuristic model. What is optimization model? Find the best solution, usually the one that will best help the organization meet its goals. I mean, you have a different solutions, and you will choose the best one. Optimization, as its name, optimize mean the best one. Is that clear, guys? For example, uh, you can hire, you have option, you can hire a person as a consultant, and you have three options. Three persons are there. All are good, but you will choose the person with the best among three in experience, in terms of connections, speaking, writing. So you will choose the best person for your organization. Okay. Same, for example, you want an information system, new information system, and you have the option about from different companies like Apple, Microsoft, or some other option. So you will choose the best one. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, Dr. Clear.
Second model is satisficing model. The find a good but not necessarily the best. Good enough. Satisficing, that you are satisfied as long as it will serve the purpose, it is fine. You will go with that option. Maybe the best option is very expensive, you cannot afford, or there can be many reasons for that. But you can go with the second option, which is also good. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, Dr.
Yeah,
Clear.
yeah, clear.
And the third one is heuristic approach. The rules, the guidelines. The guidelines are there. Rules are there. Commonly accepted guidelines or procedures that usually find a good solution. So you will find a solution based on rules and guidelines. If the solution is fulfilling the guidelines, then it is okay. It is a good solution for you. So there are three models for choosing a solution. Any question, guys? Any confusion?
So, Doctor, the best model is optimization, right?
It is not a best model. In this model, you can find a best solution. You will go only with the best. Okay. There are three different models. You can choose any one. Okay. Each model will tell you how to choose a solution. Optimization model will tell you best solution only. Go for a best solution. Satisficing model will say, okay, you cannot go for the best, so you can also go for the good.
Okay.
Heuristic is saying those solutions that fulfill the guidelines, the rules. That solution would be the good solution. So these are the different approaches. Okay, now we have a different level of management in one organization. Most businesses have three levels of management, like executive management includes.
Doctor, the slides are freezing.
Now you can see.
Not yet.
Now you can see.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so there are different level of management in any organization. There are mostly three levels. So the first one is the executive management. That includes top tier management focused on long-term strategic business decisions such as how to compete price versus quality and what countries to do the business in. Executive management, top management. Can you tell me any example for these executive management? from any organization? Who are these people? Any idea?
Yes, doctor.
Executive management. What is this? What kind of people they are?
The people who run the organization,
Yes, like
for example, in the university, the dean, the,
not the dean, not the dean.
دكتور
Yes,
the management who they control all the business or the most of business
yes, the most of the control the business, and
or
they have
most of
the authority of taking the special decision. For example, we should open a branch in Dubai. We should start a business in USA.
yeah
Okay, who will take this decision? The top
the
management,
this
the executive management.
yeah
For example, here this decision will be taken by the maybe the president for our university, president or vice president, and maybe the minister of education who are related with that. So those people are the executive management. Okay,
yeah
the most important and critical decisions normally taken by those the executive management. Then we have a middle or tactical management is focused on running the organization to meet the strategic goals and typically has management time frame of 3 to 12 months. So they have a time for 3 to 12 months, almost for 1 year, the middle management. Like, the
yeah
vice deanships. We have the deanships, right?
yeah like the responsibility
Yes. Now, top management, executive management has taken a decision that they will go for Abbott accreditation, okay, international accreditation. Then the middle management will has taken a decision. They will go for the Abbott accreditation, and they will provide all the logistic and the budget support for that. And then this decision will further taken down to the employees and management, which is called operational employees. For example, the dean and the faculty members in our college. We are the operational. We we execute the action plan. Action plan usually made by the top management, and we as a faculty execute that action plan. Is that clear, guys?
yes,
You have
yes,
executive management, you have then middle managers, middle level, and then you have the operational employees.
دكتور could you repeat the middle management
Middle management, as I gave you the example of the university, we have three vice president, right?
yeah
And under each president, vice president, we have different deanships. Okay,
okay yeah
all these deanships, you can consider it is somewhere in the middle management.
uh-huh yeah
Okay, and
Yeah.
we and all colleges, the dean and the employees, they come at operational employees and management. So decision come from executive management, then it will go to the middle management. Middle management will explain, will create a strategy for that. And
yeah
that
it create
strategy
that
will be taken by the colleges and they implement that. that clear, guys?
Yeah, Doctor, did you mean the middle management, the one who can organize the business of something like college and
They will make the strategic goals. They will
yeah,
create a strategy.
make a strategy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yes. And who will execute that strategy? The operational employees.
Who's the one who created? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, for example, any decision if we take here, for example, the midterm will be in the university offline. So, executive management has taken a decision, maybe in collaboration with the ministry. Okay, they will start midterm in the university. Middle management create a strategy how they will conduct this. Did you get this?
Yes.
Yes, get it, Doctor.
And now the college will execute it. Now you can see the student will sit separately. They cannot enter. They have three different gates to enter. And so this strategy is implemented by the college. They have created this based on the instructions given by the middle management. And middle management has created the strategy based on the instruction given by the executive management.
Okay, Doctor, I have a question, Doctor.
Yeah.
If the middle management creating the business, okay, or creating a strategy,
Yeah.
who can decide if he can make it or no? The excessive management or middle management itself?
I didn't get you. I mean,
Okay, Doctor. If the middle management creates a strategy
yeah.
or create something like a rule or something like this.
Okay.
So who has the decision and the end, the executive management or the middle management?
You mean who is the responsible for that?
Yeah, who has the decision? Who has the decision?
The top management has the approvals, the final approval. If
Yeah,
anything
that's what I
goes
mean. The
beyond
final
that,
approval.
yeah,
Yeah, the final motion. Yeah.
that would be done by the president of the university.
Yeah.
Then this will be considered as approved, right? Like in the government, anything goes from from one ministry to the top management, and then at the end it will go to the prime minister, president, or maybe the king, and they took the final decision there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the approval must be, you have a different categories of approval. First, dean will approve, then it will go to the vice deanship, they will approve, then it will go to the vice president, they will approve, then it will go to the president, they will approve. So approval can go to multiple phases, but usually the policy comes from the executive management, and strategy will be usually made by this middle management, and the operational, the employees, the faculty, in our case, or in business organization, the employees, they will execute those decisions.
Yeah. Okay.
So executive level, as we discussed, these are the executive level managers, aggregate the summaries of past organization data and projection of the future. So the top management will see the future. Okay, they want to become a number one in the region. How they can become number one? So they will take the past data, historical data. Based on that, they will create a new policy and something new. So it will improve the organizational strategy and planning. So these are the things usually done by the executive manager. For example, in university case, should we go for international accreditation or not? As we are, we are ABET accredited. So executive level has taken this decision that we should go for that because we want to improve in future. Is that clear, guys?
Clear.
Yes.
Managerial is middle level managers, functional managers, automate the monitoring and controlling of operational activities, improve organizational effectiveness. So all the policies that is created by the executive level, the managerial level will create a strategy, and especially monitoring and controlling. This is very important because what in our university, what our college is doing, somebody is monitoring the performance of the college, right?
Yeah.
So who are these people? From the middle management. They are watching the colleges, what colleges are doing. They are following the standards, they are following the policies. Okay?
Yeah.
So this will also improve the organizational effectiveness. And the last one is operational, as you know, the foremen and supervisors automate routine and repetitive tasks, improve
Yeah.
organizational efficiencies. So in our case, the we employees, the head of department, the dean, and the faculty members, these are all part of this operational level. They usually execute the policies. Is that clear, guys?
Yeah. Clear. So,
So next we have a topic MIS, Management Information System. So it is a system. It is a web-based system that manage the information. For example, in our college, we have student data, we have attendance data, we have scheduling, we have exam data, we have many things. So we need a system that can be that can manage this information, and that is called MIS. It is a collection of people, procedure, databases, and devices, and integrated programs. Provides manager and decision makers with information to help achieve organization goal. It's talking about the manager level, the head of department, or the dean of the college. We need to see some data. You want to take some decision. Can you tell me what kind of decisions that dean can make? The important decisions.
The number of students can join the college.
Number of
students can join the college.
So how he can take
From-
this decision?
From GPA and the seats available in college.
So he needs data, right, to take the decision.
yes.
Dean wants to hire new faculty member. Do they need or not? It is very important decision. So they need data for this information.
Yes.
Can give the organization a competitive advantage. Competitive advantage means that if there is another organization, is there another university? So there is a competition between them, right?
Yeah.
So if you are managing your data using MIS, so it means you have a correct data and you have information and you can take decisions. So it means you have the advantage over other university. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, providing the right information to the right people in the right format at the right time. So everything is right here. If you have such scenario, the right information to the right people in the right format and at the right time, so surely you will get a success in that, right?
Yeah.
Provides manager with information that supports effective decision making and provides feedback on daily operations. So can you tell me what other reporting that we can see using this MIS, which is very useful for taking decisions?
Like how many computers the college needs?
Yes, we need this information. How many students to take admission to enroll? How many students to be graduated? How many faculty members are working? How many we need in next year? How many classrooms we have? How many chairs we have? How many softwares we have?
Yes.
So this MIS is very important. Now you get this, what is the importance of MIS?
Yeah.
Okay. Internal data sources, the inputs to MIS. What are the input for MIS? So there are some internal data sources and some external. TPS and ERP systems are and related databases. What is TPS?
Finance
what?
department.
TPS. TPS stand for
Finance department.
transaction processing system, guys.
Yes.
What, doctor?
Transaction processing system, TPS. And ERP stand for
Enterprise resourcing planning.
yes. So these are the inputs for the MIS because we need some data from that. Data warehouses and data marts. What are these things? Have you heard this name?
What, doctor?
Data warehouses and data mart.
No, I never heard about this.
Warehouse. What is warehouse?
Warehouse.
Yes.
Warehouse.
In general, what is warehouse? Storeroom, your warehouse. Where you store the things.
Storage. Yeah.
So data warehouse means the warehouse that stored the data. But it is a big data. Variety of data. Different databases are collected in one place in warehouse. And data mart is also the same thing, but it is specific. I mean, its size is categorized. So for example, you stored only information about the clothes in winter season. Okay, both are same. You store the data, but the difference in sizes. Okay. specific functional areas throughout the firm. So these are the internal data sources. Data source means from where the data comes as an input for MIS. There are some external data sources like customer, supplier, competitors, stockholders who are not already captured by the TPS through internet, through websites, extranet, through other organizations. In our case, like students' data, customer data, employees' data. Okay, so these are all the data sources. Means the data is coming from these sources as an input for MIS, and then MIS will use this data to generate the different reports.
Doctor, can I ask you a question?
Yes,
The input of MIS is the output of TPS. Is this right or not?
input of MIS is the output
TPS.
of MIS. You are saying MIS is the input of TPS. Look, these are integrated systems. When we talk about ERP, so ERP is a collection of integrated programs. Like TPS is one program, MIS is one program in that. Okay, so these are integrated, so they can share the data with each other. Yes, yes, it can be. Okay.
But why TPS is the input, Doctor? I think I read in last
Why it
chapters.
is? Why it is?
TPS is the input.
I'm saying that these are the integrated programs, so they can share the data. Whether it is output, input, no problem. If it is integrated programs, then they can share the data because ERP is a big system. Inside that, there are many systems, and those systems can share the data. Did you get the point?
Okay, this means that TPS data and ERS is the input.
This
It's
is the
all
beauty
thing
of the system.
MIS.
This is the beauty of the system, but these data must be updated. If TPS using that data and they update it, the MIS should get the updated data. Okay? Is that clear?
Clear cut.
Okay. So we can move on further. Now we have some reporting, different type of reporting. From the MIS. So every system should produce report. Without analysis, there is no use. So some scheduled report produced periodically or on a schedule such as daily, weekly, and monthly. Sometimes you need reports. For example, how many products available in is remaining in our warehouse. You need this report after every day maybe. There are some reports that you need weekly basis. So there are that is called scheduled report, like key indicator report, summary of previous day critical activities. So it depends on business to business, what kind of business and what kind of reporting they need. In our college, attendance is a report. We need a report for that on daily basis, right?
like tenders, Doctor.
Yes, we need it on daily basis. And there are some other reports as well. Maybe they need an admin side. So these reports who have some scheduled is called scheduled report. Demand report developed to give certain information and someone's request. Okay, Dean wants, or Vice Dean want that how many softwares are available in CCSIT. This is a demand report. We don't generate. Okay, so this is called demand report. If somebody asks, so we used to send so many reports. Sometimes evaluation. College asks us, okay, send us the evaluation report. Send us the midterm report. Send us the final report, final exam report. Send us the invigilation related reports. So these are the demand reports somebody can ask you, and you have to create that. You have to generate that. Exception report automatically produced when a situation is unusual or requires management action. This is again the exceptional report. Unusual situation occurs and you need some plan for that. So you can your system should generate this report. Drill down reports provide increasingly detailed data about situation. I mean, report, inside report, like a tree view. You know the tree view? Tree. You click on, and then it will open up more. Like in menus, if you go to the menus, you can right click and you can select one, so you will get more information inside. Okay, that is called drill down reports, more detailed reports. So, here you can see, I don't know, is it clear? The first one is scheduled report on daily basis.
It's freezing, Doctor.
Is it freezing?
Yes.
Now you can see.
Yes, Doctor.
So these are the different reports. The first one is schedule report, then we have indicator report, demand report, exception report, and on E side, on right side here, you can see these are the drill down reports. First level, second level, third level, fourth level. In more details, if you need, you can find more details. This is called drill down report. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, then we have our organization functional level. So a functional area represent a discrete area of organization that focuses on specific set of activities. For example, people in the marketing function focus on activities that promote organization and its products in a way that attract and retain customers. So there are different organization functional level. You consider departments. There are different departments working in one business. For example, the College of CCSIT have different departments. We have AI, we have CIS, we have the other departments. So every department has its own activities and functionalities. So same applies in the business. In business organization, you have one marketing department, you have one operational department, you have one the IT related department. There are different sections in that, different areas. So every area has its own, the activities. Production department is responsible for the production of the products. Marketing department is responsible for the marketing and advertising. So every organization, business organization have different discrete areas or departments or different functional areas. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, next we have the functional area information system. So there are different MIS you can see, or different functional area, different departments in one organization. The financial MIS, so it will work with the finance only. Manufacturing, it will work with monitoring and control the flow of material, products and services. Marketing MIS, now you can see there are different MIS in one organization. And every MIS is responsible for different department. Human resource, accounting, geographic information system.
Doctor,
Yes?
does one department have all this?
No, I don't think so. It depends on the size of the department and what are the activities therein. But usually marketing department do not need anything about human resource, right?
Yes.
They do not need to work with that. So it depends. I'm not saying no. It depends on what is the infrastructure, what are the policies in one department they are working. Maybe they can link with each other. Sometimes they need information. Okay, but they are usually the independent departments, right?
But finance and
Financial
manufacturing
is
and
usually
the
some
marketing.
Yes, maybe each department has its own accounting MIS, right?
Yes, and marketing and finance.
Yes. So these kind of the different MIS system which are very useful because we need to automate everything. So the data is there and all this data is connected with ERP. Then your organization can get the competitive advantage. This is sure. Okay. In our university, we have different functional areas. Like we have accounts department. We have accounts department for Saudis. We have accounts department for non-Saudis. We have ticketing department. We have the human resource department, quality department, the passport department. So all they have their own MIS system, but they are all integrated in one ERP. If you go to the e-services, maybe you can utilize many of them altogether. but usually they are independent departments. They don't interfere with each other, but they share the data with each other. Okay?
Okay, doctor.
Okay, next system is decision support system. A DSS is an organized collection of people, procedures, software, databases, devices used to help make decisions that solve problems. Focus of a DSS is decision making, as its name shows, decision making, decision support system, effectiveness regarding unstructured or semi-structured business problems, used by managers at all levels. So in college, we have this DSS. Do you know this thing? In our university.
Yes, you tell us before.
There's the one department DSS. You can check, you can find in the university and you can visit that one also. They have all data from the university and they can share the data with the college, with the top management, executive management, middle management, and even with the dean and the head of departments of the college. For example, how many students have been graduated so far in last 5 years, last 10 years? How many students enrolled in last 10 years? How many students enrolled in CS only? How many students enrolled in medical college? How many female students enrolled? How many male students enrolled? So there are so many, different way of thinking. What is exactly required by the department? They can generate reports, such kind of reports. So it is very useful system, and you can take decision. This will help you in taking the decision because they will generate a different analysis of the data. So there are some components in that. Is it enough for today, guys, or should I continue?